Happy client check-in day. I'm excited to hear from you. So, I wanted to kind of keep the topic of body composition that went along with our webinar from this week. So, if you have not done a body composition scan and you've been on your health journey for a while, I highly recommend doing that. Um, there's a lot of reasons. Sometimes we get really caught up in what the scale says. And to know that the scale isn't everything, it is a helpful measurement. But if you've been on your journey a while, it's really helpful to start looking at your skeletal muscle and also your body fat percentage. There are scales that you can buy on Amazon that claim that they take your body composition. I'm skeptical of their accuracy. I have one, and it just like the body fat and muscle just follows my weight. It doesn't ever change. But when I've done an in-body scan, that is not the case. And so, for example, my weight has gone up in the last year, and but when I look at my body composition, my skeletal muscle went up over 3 pounds, and my body fat percentage went down over 2%. So that's a good example of why the scale isn't everything. If I was just looking at my weight, only concerned about my weight, you're thinking, oh, I gained weight, that's a bad thing. No, when we're getting more skeletal muscle, that helps our metabolism over the long term. And that's why it's really helpful. Another example is, somebody can lose a lot of weight and also be losing some of their muscle with it. And why that's detrimental is because, as we age, we naturally lose muscle. We don't want to lose muscle because, obviously, for reasons of mobility, but also, again, our metabolism is, our muscle helps burn our metabolism a lot hotter. And so, in terms of staying at a healthy weight, a healthy body fat percentage, we want to hold on to our muscle. So it might be really motivating to see those numbers and to start tracking those over the long term. Um, uh, so again, like thinking about our weight. Another example is somebody can lose weight and they actually still have a high body fat percentage if they're not building muscle. So that they've seen that in like supermodels where I think I call it like skinny fat, where you can be really thin but also have a high body fat percentage. And so anyway, just thinking about strength training, thinking about how you're building your muscle, because this is really a key to longevity and key to overall health. And that is not just about what you do in the gym, it is part of it. But nutrition has to go along with that to really hold on to our muscle, to really gain muscle. And that's why we have our essential amino acids and our whey protein and our protein forward meals, our Ascend mini meals. These are all tools that really, really help nutritionally. Otherwise, it's hard. It's going to be harder to track. It's going to be harder to consistently look at, am I getting enough protein in? I just read that most Americans are either getting the RDA amount of protein or less, which is not even what we need to maintain our healthy muscle. We need much more than that, than what the RDA is recommending. So it's typically, think about a gram of protein per pound of our ideal body weight. So like for me, be about 135 grams of protein a day, something like that. So anyway, that's kind of the general rule, but most people aren't getting that, and after the age of 30 we start losing that muscle. So anyway, it's critical. It's a really critical thing to hold on to our muscle, especially as we're aging. And the older we get, the more critical it becomes, and the older we get, the more protein we actually need. So utilizing these supplements, utilizing these tools can be such a huge benefit. So anyway, my recommendation is to find an in-body scanner and to start tracking your body composition, even if it's every 6 months. I've been trying to do it every 3 months or 4 months. So anyway, it's just really helpful information. If you didn't catch that webinar, I highly recommend it. Goes into a little more detail about it and about the weakness of a BMI measurement. There's men, even like my husband, if they're very muscular, if they have a lot of lean muscle mass, just looking at a BMI is not helpful. So that's another reason why body composition scales are really helpful. So I'd love to hear from you if that's something that you intend to do. It's not something you have to do, but something really helpful for long-term health. And if you've been tracking your health journey for a while, it can be also really motivating to be able to start gaining more muscle, doing strength training, really focusing in on that. So anyway, I look forward to hearing from you today, and we'll talk to you soon.